Welcome back to more Josh-CCLP4. I'm Ivan248. I'm going to keep playing. This is the Josh-L4 section, starting with Ancient Glider Temple, and I'm going to read that hint. Carefully get through this corridor and lure these gliders and 3 blocks through the chamber below. So this time limit's a little strict. I have played this level before. I've liked it a lot. Let's see if I can remember how it works. No, I'm screwed. So I remember you have to be careful with this room so that none of the gliders die. So with this setup, when the gliders come in, none of them die. And then I send them into the next room over. Yeah, this level it's a very short level, but it's a very fun level. It uses the entire map, but it uses it in a very clever way. So it doesn't feel like it does.
Bummer.
Really? I did not think I was going to die there. And that sets the tone for this section. You've got plenty of time to set that up once you know it's coming. But when you don't, you barely have enough. It's very well timed. Okay, so where do I go now? Wait, no, I think I am allowed to go over this button. You're usually not allowed to go over buttons that are just sitting there, but in this case you are. There's a recessed wall here, and I can teleport one of 2 directions. That way seems to be the wrong way. That way also seems... Neither of those was the wrong way. That's clever. And the gliders flood the area. Toggle button's gonna get hit. Glider will blow up the bomb, and I'm allowed to finish. Ancient Glider Temple down. That was a lot of fun. Flickering Lights. I don't like this level very much. I appreciate the concept behind it. It's actually pretty smart. But you can very easily die, and it's very easy to miss something, and it is so open. But exploring it takes a while, because there's a couple seconds of downtime like that just throughout the level, and it's a good concept. It's just
Bummer.
not fun to play. There's a lot of blobs, and right there is a perfect example of what the toggles can do.
Bummer.
It's like, what am I supposed to do when I get trapped like that? Am I supposed to just not get trapped like that? You can't really say that with blobs. So I'm going to try to be thorough, and I'm going to try to be smart with how I handle this. But, eh. Yeah, my only gripe with this is that... Okay, I have 2 gripes. One is that the chip tiles get you trapped. I know that just adds an extra element of difficulty to the blob dodging. But this is already pretty difficult to dodge. And then just how much mandatory downtime there is. Like there's nothing that happens during those 3 seconds. And you're just waiting. And I'm not a huge fan of waiting at all. I appreciate it when the blobs get really dense and you can just look, but this particular run has not been dense. It's been pretty sparse. I think I'm missing chips over in the middle. So we'll go up here, we'll go down there, and we'll try and deal with the middle. Okay, there's one up on the top wall, too. Hello? Where are these 5 chips? I'm missing 3 somewhere. See, this is a position where it's pretty scary without the stopping. But with it, like, I just wait for the blobs to clear out. So there should be 3 chips somewhere down here. Okay, there's one of them. I'm assuming the other two are going to be nearby. Yep. So then after I get the chip, I just have to get to the exit without dying by a blob, which is a lot easier said than done. So yeah, it's a cool design. It's just, I don't appreciate having to wait around as much as you do for that. I know that's nitpicking, and I know I said I was going to try to not do that, but the entire concept of the level is just not something I enjoy that much. Anyway, solipsism? I have no clue what that means. But I do know how the solution works. And it's a pretty cool solution. It's because you work with these pink balls and you deal with blocks moving through them. It's kind of like Amorphous that I made, except this one's a lot more structured than my level ever was. So I'm going to have to be smart and careful with this section. I think I want to go up first, because then this ball has more room. Yeah, up. Nope, I wanted to go up in the center lane. Silly, silly me. Let's not do that. Alright, let's take the block on the other side too. So this is not a terribly difficult level, but it's a really cool level to think about. And the aesthetic of these pink balls on gravel is really, really nice. So kudos to Josh on that. So let's deal with the more difficult blocks now. They're still not very hard, just have to be smart with the recessed wall use. Dang, muscle memory.
Bummer.
I have no one but myself to blame for that, though. So let's alternate sides this time, then. Alternating sides sounds like a good idea. It could backfire horribly, and I don't know if it will, but I'm gonna try. Because what's the worst that could happen, right? I die again? Okay, so this is the last of those blocks. There's still two others that need dealing with more balls on the edge. So those ones are a little tougher, and I need to remember to push both of these blocks to the left. Okay, so the reason these are tougher is you don't have much room to work with. But there is enough room to push the block up like that. So yeah, not much more difficult, but it is difficult enough that it's worth noting. All it really means is you do this push in multiple stages. Alright, so now we can go around and get the chip. And it looks like I'm going to need to go down the center lane. So we have a pink ball guarded by a blue lock. We'll release him. I'll wait for the balls to collide because I don't know which way they're going to move, up or down. And then we will go check the yellow. It has another ball. Let's get that red key. So these two balls will drown, and then I can just run to the exit. So I don't know if this is the intended way of dealing with the ending. I can definitely see a couple different ways of doing it. So yes, solipsism, which I really should look up what that word means. Solved, that was a fun one. Light this is on fire. Fire mazes are pretty overused concepts, said no player
Bummer.
ever. So, looks like this is just a straightforward maze. Of course it's not just a straightforward maze. These are Josh-CCLP4 levels we're talking about. Nothing is ever straightforward.
Bummer.
I found my way to the exit so quickly. So I'm going to assume this is pretty strictly timed. And I'm just going to follow the left wall throughout. And hopefully not run out of time. Because there's something cloning, there's something blowing up bombs, and I'd rather not get screwed over at the end. Because I know Josh mentioned in, well, as of the time of this recording, the most recently uploaded Ultimate Chip 5 episode, that he doesn't expect to be able to solve every level on the first try. I don't, and see, I don't expect to be able to solve every level on the first try either. But there is one difference, one subtle but important difference between our mentalities on this. I expect to have a chance to solve every level on my first try, or nearly every level. I get frustrated if I feel like the of a mistake is on the design's fault, or like the fault of the design, or my keyboard, or anything else like that. Because then it's like, I have my chance, I took my chance, I didn't screw up, or maybe I did and I could have foreseen it. But it's all about making mistakes feel like they're the player's fault and not the design or anything else's fault. And that's something I've tried to do with my levels. I'd say pretty much every level I've made can be solved on the first try if you think ahead far enough. There's a few exceptions where there's some really clever trap that most players are going to fall for, and myself included even a few times. But overall, though, I definitely don't expect to solve every level on the first try. But to feel like I don't even have a chance to solve a level on the first try is not something I enjoy that much. I don't know, it's a weird little distinction to make, but I feel like it's an important distinction to make. Like, so 350 degrees Fahrenheit, I definitely could have gotten on the first try if I looked ahead enough. But I didn't, and I was careless throughout, so I didn't beat it on the first try. But I could have. Anyway, moving on to Corrupted System
Bummer.
folder, which looks like it has block sliding. That's everybody's favorite activity. So it looks like we've got a little Sokoban going on here. Nothing too difficult. I've seen worse. And then 3 block slides for chips after. So this is going to be a very block slide heavy level, I can see. I can't say I like that too much. I also can't say it's like a bad idea though. And it looks like it's going to take about 3 or 4 minutes. So now we get a blue wall section, which of course there's one going to be, so I can actually do the block slide. Really? I was late on both of those? I was late on that one too? Wow, what is with my timing right now? Yeah, see, that wasn't so bad. So even this maze is kind of falling into blue wall maze territory, where it just uses up all the space, which is actually kind of nice when you, from a gameplay perspective, because it means it takes less time to try to explore what's available. Okay, so we've got a tricky room here. Looks like it's memory styled. And I'm gonna have to do one block slide after pressing a toggle button, too. Ooh, but I only get to leave once I flip a toggle by the recessed wall, so this is trickier. So I have a toggle button and a tank button. So let's be smart about how we use both of these. Okay, so I think that's as far as I can take it right now. So if the toggle's in this state and the tank's in this state, I'm locked out. But I'm allowed to be locked out because I've done most of the block slides I need to. Okay. This is kind of cool. My biggest complaint is probably how long it takes to go around this force floor slide. It ties into the downtime issue I had with Flickering Lights, which is, again, a kind of a minor thing, but at the same time, it's enough that it bugs me. So how do I go in here? I go in here by recessed wall. And we have an ice maze with bombs. So I'm going to play this really slow and safe and careful. Okay, so I could have made that long slide, and it looks like I need to make that long slide that I couldn't see, but I could explore and see, so I'm okay with that. Alright, one block slide to go. Sweet. So this will be a corrupted system folder. I could definitely see this level taking a couple tries to get beyond that intro section, but that was, aside from the early death, that was basically first try. So it's like, I don't expect to beat levels on the first try, but it's nice to have that shot too. So, before the snowstorm, and I'm going to try and stop talking about the first try thing, just because I know that not everybody agrees with me on that. I think it's good design to give the player all the information so they don't have to guess and try again over and over. But most players will if the puzzle is sufficiently complicated, just because there's enough to it. So, before the snowstorm, so I could get a yellow key at any time I want. I don't know if I want to get this yellow key now, though. Okay, so I have a block. Can I do anything with this block? Yes, I can. Okay, which lane do I want to push it on? Doesn't matter. We'll go with the lower one. Pretty sure this one doesn't matter. Okay, so I wanted to follow it. That's fine. So I can go over here and trade my block for a block, so I don't see any reason why I wouldn't want to do that. Because I'm trading a block for a block and some chips, and it's not like these blocks have special properties that require them to be used in specific locations. Okay, so I could spend my block over there to get more chips, but I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to spend it on this trap button, because if I'm correct, this trap button will give me access to the yellow key, which will give me my block back. Which is what the recessed walls are for. Okay, so this block is going to come up, go around, go up, go around, and end up on the other trap button. Alright. This is a really cool layout. I like the matrixing to it. Okay, so remember to use the recessed walls. And don't die by Walker. Thank you for not dying by Walker. I am not very good at monster dodging. I know I've said that before. And I know that can be a little seem a little weird coming from me, but I'm good at the pattern stuff. I'm not good at actually reacting to the monsters. Okay, so I still have my block. And I think let's let's just scope out the area. So I count 1, 2, 3? 3 chips over on the behind the recessed walls. Now there's probably a fourth that I can't see. I'm gonna assume there is the fourth. I'm not gonna check the editor for this level. Because I'd rather not do that unless I'm skeptical on, like, unless I've been specifically told to watch out for a level. There was one more chip. So, the recessed wall there and 2 pairs of skates. Interesting. Ah. Got my blue key, come down here, get the other pair of skates, and I should be able to finish the level now. Okay, this one was fun. Eddie's ceiling wax is very similar to that. I know Eddie's taken, like, very heavily taken a concept from Josh before with Blue Earth's corporate center basically being the glider identity. Anyway, moving on to sealed doors in the spacecraft. Hint says to find a way through the sealed doors and gain control of my spacecraft. What else? So this is a really cool level. I already know the solution to it, but that doesn't stop it from being really cool. And I know the solution because I've looked at it before, because it looked unsolvable. And then I looked and I figured it out. And it's this partial post. That partial post is so clever. It's like now we just set up another partial post with this blue block, with the other blue lock block. And boom. Like, that is just so clever to me. Like, I don't know how Josh came up with that. And it's not complicated, but it's also not an intuitive solution. But that's what makes it so clever. A forced circuit. All chips are required. Be sure to take advantage of the force floors too. This is another really great concept. It's a lot of fun to play. So I'm just going to use MS boosting rules to make my life easier here. That could have ended badly. Let's run along the bottom. Yeah, MS boosting rules do make this a lot easier to work through. Whoops. And 1 chip left, and done. Forced circuit done. That's one of my favorite levels from that Josh has ever designed, I think. Discolored Television. Experiment with the teleports a bit. Now I'm going to experiment with this blob room a bit.
Bummer.
Just because this is such a small space for a blob.
Bummer.
Let's just run for it. Alright, let's... Oh, I can't even make all of this visible? Yikes. So I'm gonna have to remember there's an invisible wall there. Oh, that's actually mean. A little bit. Nice. Nice hidden toggle button. I do appreciate the hint saying that, because otherwise I would have assumed those were the only teleports in the level. Oh, of course, there's a second blob room. Let's see. No invisible wall on this side? Okay. So it looks like I'll be taking 2 blocks down and using them to gain chips. Let's deal with the blob. Okay, so there's 1, 2 there. Move them down and around. What's in the center? Actually, what's down here?
Bummer.
I really should have seen that coming, but I didn't. There's probably chips under the blocks, actually. Like, there probably are. No? Then, what am I missing in this level? Because there's 2 chips I can't find. Did not deserve to survive that encounter.
Bummer.
I... Okay, that column's clear. I'm losing track of what I have and have not done on this particular attempt. Stop guarding the exit! Thank you! Oh my god. This level is ridiculous. Well, Josh-CCLP4 stuff is definitely on the harder side.
Bummer.
I screwed up, didn't I? I am not a fan of this right now. Mostly because of these blob rooms. I've been focusing on dealing with these blob rooms. Did not deserve to survive that, but I did anyway. I know what I screwed up last time. And I'm going to get it right this time. So let's deal with the gliders now. Because this pattern is a little difficult. Yeah, that's really scary. Alright, let's move this block down, take out the remaining bomb, and that should be that. Alright, Discolored Television done. I'll move on to Fireboot Factory in the next video, because that's a very good place to stop, right around a half hour. So yeah, so far, Josh-CCLP4 stuff has been a lot of fun.